get it on the jet sweep to the short side. Up the sideline. Sam McCaffrey. He is gone.
Intercepted. It is intercepted by the Tigers. Stephen Brogan picks it off for LC.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. Is ready to cap off the first month of the season and honored to be joined this week by the Stabler boys. Kenny to my left and Brady over here to my right. Guys, thank you so much for joining us along with Tory, Strock. I am Lynn, Groll. Looking forward to capping the first month of the season this week. We got our work cut out for us with these two guys picking games this week, Coach.
You know, sometimes we have guests, Lynn, that we can kind of trick them and fool them and, you know, bait them into making certain picks and that. That ain't happening tonight.
We could be in trouble, my friend.
I was thinking about that on my way here. I'm usually not fazed by any of our guests. We'll beat them in the pick'ems. But I was a little nervous today.
I don't know about all that, man. I listen to you guys to study until I get my education.
Same. You guys are a big reference source for us. We appreciate you, and we're thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you. And last week I didn't do so well, so hopefully you didn't listen to us last week.
It's noted.
Strock got a little ahead of me last week.
I did. I had a couple games I'd like to have back. Don't we all? But I thought it was interesting. Delta Gibsonburg. I was looking for highlights, and because we're doing Delta this week, and Delta beat Gibsonburg, and there was a comment somewhere that said everybody picked against us, and I'm sitting there going, they must not listen to Black Swamp, because anyone who knows Delta was going to win that game. The NWAL in a clash of styles like that, Delta's winning that game. You don't pick against Delta with Mike Vickers at the helm. And I thought, I'm going to comment, but I didn't. Took the high road. But we picked the Panthers.
We did. We did get that one right last week. Congratulations to Delta. Big one there. And maybe a rock-solid performance from week 3. Maybe. We'll get to that here in a second.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. You guys have seen a lot of GMC. You've seen Crestview Marion Local week 2, right, Kenny?
Correct.
Where do you kind of see the football scene here through the first 3 weeks?
Well, and the limited area compared to Black Swamp's coverage region, it's just a small sample size. But the one thing that stands out to me after 3 weeks was getting that opportunity to see Marion Local for the first time in my career live. I've seen them on film. I've seen highlights, of course, video highlights, and I've heard so much just in talking to people. But seeing is believing, the whole experience, communicating with Coach Goodwin the week of the game a little bit, and then getting to talk to him and a couple of his staff members, and just to watch them, the way they carry themselves out on the field, even for warm-ups. Humble, plug and play, machine. I was just telling you before we went on, guys, they're two deeps. They're second-string guys, just so impressive. They're not a team that jumps off sides on 4th and 2. You don't see any pre-snap penalties. And the thing that's equally or more impressive to me about Marion is that if you make any type of mistake, and we saw it that night every time, they pounce on you like a cat and make you pay.
Yeah.
That's what I take away from seeing them in person.
And what did you tell us before we came on the air, how many junior high kids they have in the program?
64, they told me, between 7th and 8th down there. They're healthy as ever.
Got to be a reason for it, Kenny. There's got to be a reason for it. Wow. Let me ask you this. Could Marion Locals 2s, meaning all their backups across the board, compete in some of the leagues full of smaller schools around here? Could they compete?
In my opinion, certainly, Tory, and that's with no disrespect to any of the programs that we're talking about. But yeah, that's how impressive they are for a small school. And I'll tell you something else that I didn't tell you. Halftime show, the band comes out on the field. Marion Local's got a nice band, and not an army like their football team appears to be when they come out onto the field. But there's the band, and I'm going to estimate and say there were 16, 18, 20 band members. There were about 6 cheerleaders or 7, maybe 8 with instruments, and there were 2 or 3 football players in their pads playing the band show, and then as soon as that was over, they were making a beeline to the locker room to hear what Coach had to say at half. So everybody's doing something down in Maria Stein in the fall. Everybody's involved. It was just really impressive.
I love it.
Yeah. Brady, you've spent a lot of time at My Sports Live this fall. What have you witnessed so far with the football season and the teams you've seen?
Yeah, week 1, got to see the MAC a little bit. Got to see New Bremen week 1 against Wayne Trace. So, always good to see the MAC and New Bremen, just like Marion Local, not as talented, obviously, on the top end of things, but still like 67 or 68 kids on the roster. Man, it's just different down there. And then weeks 2 and 3, I've actually been to all 3 Wayne Trace games, so I got to see a little Northwest Conference, saw Spencerville, saw Crestview, and then obviously I've watched some replays of some other games, but we talked about it a little bit before we came on. In our area right now, more so than ever, it's a little bit interesting, a little bit eerie, because there is a numbers shortage. A lot of the teams that we're used to covering, there's just not as many kids out there, not as many bodies. Warm-ups look a little bit different. In-game looks a little bit different, especially now that we're to week 4 and you have some kids injured. There's just not a lot of depth, not a lot of numbers, and I think it makes for, probably some good off-season conversation down the road.
Crestview a little bit out of our coverage area, but you saw Crestview against Marion Local, right?
Yep.
Braxton Leith, give us some insight on this.
Special. His season was shortened last year due to injury, and he's one of those runners that you would love. Coach Strock gets those shoulders squared, and he's not afraid of anyone. But his offensive line, he'll be the first kid. He's a great kid, by the way. He'll be the first one to tell you, give credit to his O-line, the space that they create for him. But yeah, going into the Wayne Trace game, which Brady and I both covered. We had it on the radio station. He had it for MySports.live, and Braxton came in, I think, with 500 yards on the button through two weeks, and he got another, Brady, 231, 233, and 4 more touchdowns, and there were some big ones. Wayne Trace did a great job. They got the ball to start that ball game last week and really controlled the clock, moved the sticks. It was a nice drive they had going. Then finally, I believe they turned it over on downs. Crestview's first play from scrimmage from their own 22. Brax takes it 78 yards to the house. He had 4 of those. So he had 7 touchdowns the first week, school record. He's got 11 touchdowns through 3 weeks and 730 yards, 735 yards.
And he played Marion Local week 2, by the way.
Yeah.
So included in that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the thing about him, because I hadn't seen him in a couple years, and he's dealt with injuries, but healthy. I've grown up my whole life going to games with Dad and watching Crestview, and this kid's as good a runner as Crestview's had in my lifetime, and they've had some studs down there. But the thing about him is he'll run it between the tackles and bruise you, but he'll also bounce it to the outside. And a lot of times when guys have those kind of stats and numbers, they look to bounce it to the outside all the time. Not him. He's picking his spots. He'll take 6 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards, and then 70 on your head just like that.
That's the question I wanted to ask you, and then you just mentioned it. What types of runs? Is he a fullback trap guy? Are they tossing it to him? Are they
both?
It's a lot of dives and traps.
A lot of dives and traps.
But they're just finding ways to get him the ball. And as they get more into conference play, they're going to have to find some different ways to get him the football. But I think right now, that they're just kind of giving it to him and saying everybody block and get out of the way.
Will they throw it to him?
They will a little bit. And the other thing you got to love about him, he's got great instincts. He's always falling forward, always moving and falling forward. They have Fort Laramie to open up their league this week. So, Braxton is as advertised.
How big is he?
He's, what is he, 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah, 6 or 6'1".
He's bigger than what I thought.
Yeah.
6'1", probably.
Yeah.
I'm picturing a compact little guy.
I was picturing an 8.
He might not be 6.
Maybe not. Maybe 5'11". He's 5'10", 11.
I don't know, man. He looked big out there Friday. That's all I know.
Yeah.
How much you weigh, you think?
I bet not quite 2. But man,
185.
He's all muscle. Okay. They say he's a real worker. He's put some serious time in the off season, and he's bulked up. He looks the part out there.
Okay. Give me some thoughts on the leagues. GMC. Is it Fairview like a lot of experts are thinking? Can you throw Tenora? Can you throw Paulding in there too?
Those three, I think, at the beginning of the year we were talking about, I think those were the three. And a lot of people, I don't know why, I mean, I'm probably maybe 0-3 record, but don't ever count the Tenora Rams out. We haven't seen Paulding. We have our first opportunity to see them this week and what Coach Menzies done there. Now, granted, and this is no disrespect, but they haven't exactly played Murderers Row out of the chute.
Yes.
They're going to have some challenges coming ahead, and I think one to maybe circle on the calendar would be that Fairview game, that Fairview-Paulding game, which this year, I believe, is at Paulding, to Keyser Field.
I think it's like week 6.
Yeah, I'm hearing great things about
Last
Fairview,
year they played
guys.
that one at Fairview
Yeah.
in that week of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Tory and I were there. It was windy as heck. And
Yeah. And I think you guys were at Keyser at Paulding last year when Tenora and
was there,
Paulding
yeah.
went together. We had that game also, and those are the three, I think, but maybe Fairview and Paulding separating themselves a little bit. We'll see what the Rams, how they get going once league play starts.
Okay.
Fairview's the favorite, I would say. Talking with coaches and talking with media people, I'd say Fairview is the favorite, but I'm not counting out Paulding. And the one thing I'll say, a lot of people are talking about Paulding's schedule. I mean, it's kind of been the talk. They're 3-0, but I mean, that's not the kids' fault. They're just playing who's in front of them, and they're playing really well right now. If Paulding can get it done up front, their guys on the outside and their quarterback, Colt Hunt, he's a really smart kid. He can distribute the football. They'll be right there able to play with anybody in the league.
Yeah.
Have a chance to win it.
Yeah. Do you guys dive a little bit into the Western Buckeye League?
We don't. Our sister station in Van Wert, WERT, of course, they do all 10 of the Cougar games,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing Wapak,
Wapak,
great,
yeah.
Wapak.
Yeah.
It's, there's some interesting games on the slate this week in the WBL, which I know we'll get to in a little while, but it sounds like Wapak's the real deal.
We saw them week 1 against Clay, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing, WBL too. I haven't seen any of them in person, obviously, but Wapak, I know Bath has had a real good start.
That's what I was just going to say. May I throw Bath in because there's a resurgence.
Yeah. Can they play defense?
Bath.
Yes.
We'll
they're
find
getting
out.
up some points.
They are. Offensively, they're very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an interesting text message yesterday. Someone asked, since Lynn and I have seen Wapak, we covered the Wapak Clay game, we saw Liberty Center Friday. They said, what would you make of a Liberty Center Wapakoneta matchup? And I thought, that's a heck of a question. I hadn't thought of it, but and so then it got my wheels turning. And
I think Wapak would have some advantages with
Caden Page.
Moyer and Page, seeing what Perkins did in that scrimmage, exploited the defensive backfield a little bit. I think Wapak could do some of that. Be a good battle in the trenches.
It would, and Wapak's defense is one of the better tackling defenses that you will see. I mean, they just don't miss tackles.
Okay. Pretty sound.
Very sound, very well coached. I think it would be so interesting because Liberty's so good up front. Could they build a wall around Caleb Moyer? Because not many people can.
No.
And Caden Page, like Lynn said, he's like Elkert from Liberty Benton. When he's on the field, he's just simply the fastest, most dynamic player on the field.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know.
That'd be a tight game.
It'd be a tight game. There'd be lead changes.
Yeah, I think
There'd be lead changes.
It'd be 21, 24, something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one a little bit more.
I thought it was a fair question.
I think Wapak could have enough up at front and in the linebacking crew to slow down that Liberty Center running game.
Yeah, slow it down. I would agree. Be a fun matchup. I know this. Neither team would back down from that challenge.
No, they would not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They'd probably both accept it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Any other questions you have for these two guys before we give our rock-solid performance from last week and get into our picks? Coach Strock?
No, I'm just tickled that they're both here with us tonight.
I am too. Let's take a break here from the Gherkin Companies. Come back and hand out our Week 3 rock-solid performance.
Who says a college degree is the only path to a fulfilling career? At the Gherkin Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods with or without a degree. Gherkin provides a generous benefits package, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. We're looking for rock-solid performers to help build and reinforce the region's infrastructure. Whether you have construction experience or are just starting your career, apply now at GherkinCompanies.com/careers.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast, presented by the Gherkin Companies. Ready to hand out our Week 3 rock-solid performance, courtesy of the Gherkin Companies. Robbie Meyer and I will make the trip to our winning team this week, probably on Thursday, and hand out some wristbands and some other goodies for the coaches. Coach, I have a couple nominations. Let's see who you have from Week 3.
I have a list of 3, and then a couple of honorable mentions.
Okay.
Before we dive into that, were there any performances this past week that you guys are familiar with that kind of made you go, wow, that was impressive? I put you on the spot.
Okay, can you say St. Henry?
I agree.
That'd be at the top of my list.
I know.
Yeah, that's the game everybody was talking about, Tory.
I know. I would agree.
Can you throw Marion Local in there too? First time they've had some adversity in a couple of years.
Absolutely.
That's rock solid, right?
Right.
Just because everybody always expects them to win doesn't mean.
They haven't had to answer the bell like that in a long time, or very often, and not only did they do it, they did it on the road.
They absolutely did. Yeah. So, very good, worth mentioning. My list of 3, I'll give you my honorable mentions, just two humble honorable mentions. Northview, just because they were able to get off the schneid a little bit. They had to stand tall versus a 2-point conversion against Start, and Barry Bach got that win, and he's a class act. Happy for Northview. Perrysburg, I know Perrysburg's good, but they blistered the favorite to win the Cardinal Division, Fremont Ross. That's pretty rock solid, so honorable mention. Rock solid candidates. The Bath Wildcats won a thriller against the Van Wert Cougars, and so Bath, it would be a candidate. Coach Josh Linke and the St. Francis Knights, huge win for their program over a perennial power Perkins, last year's defending Division IV state runner-up. My preference, but this guy makes the final call, he's the president, the Delta Panthers, with a huge victory over Gibsonburg in a game I think people thought was a toss-up. Delta got it done, and I thought they were pretty rock solid. That's all I have, buddy.
I have all those that you mentioned. Delta, St. Francis. To me, I would lean St. Francis. We're going to get these two guys to vote, though, just because they knocked off a team that was coming off of a state runner-up finish a year ago in Perkins. A little tougher challenge than what Delta had. You're
not going to get an argument from me. I agree.
These two can cast their vote.
I would say St. Francis, with no disrespect to Delta, because they're obviously going to have a chance for another big Week 4 here coming up.
Bigger fish to fry for Delta.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Archbold Week 4 too. St. Francis, is that where Rocco Pirelli transferred to?
He is, yes.
Yeah. That's impressive, St. Francis, what they did.
Coming off that loss against Bishop Minor the week before in Fort Wayne. You good with St. Francis, Coach?
I am, in fact.
The Brady boys have kind of trumped.
Yeah, I listed my top 3. I circled Delta, and I coached in a game against Perkins a long time ago in like 2013. The types of kids they have, the size and grit and toughness in that, they're hard to beat. And like Lynn said, coming off of the season they came off of, St. Francis, just another building block for them. I think it's huge. I'd be fine with that.
Okay. We're going to go with St. Francis as our Week 3 rock-solid performance. Head over to St. Francis later this week. I don't know that I want to go. I'm not in not in good graces right now with the St. Francis folks, if you haven't heard Coach Strock.
Yeah, I was part of a text message this weekend from Coach Linke.
I don't know whether I want to roll in there to St. Francis and Jermaine Polk having to face that guy.
You may.
Can you come with me and be my bodyguard?
Well, I
need a reinforcement.
I can come with you.
You're not going to help me out, though, if Jermaine's got an issue with me?
I'll have your back, but it may be way back. Because Jermaine and I are boys.
Yeah. I think if you show up with wristbands, you're going to score some points.
I hope so, but I don't know. They're not too happy with me.
He may just get a bunch of dirty looks.
They have to get 5 more wins. That's all there is to it. I may have to go over there and give them a little pep talk, because they got to get 5 more wins if they want to see us.
I agree.
They know the deal.
I mean, you laid out the gauntlet for him, and but also if you know Lynn, he's a tactician. There's part of me that suspects he picked against St. Francis to help motivate those kids.
And Jermaine, if you're listening, I'm not scared of you, big guy. I'll roll in there. I don't care. You got to get 5 more wins, then you can talk some smack. That's all there is to it. Pick'em results from a week ago. Tory was 35-7. I was 32-9. Overall, now Tory 108-30 for a .783 win percentage. I am 102-31 for a .767 win percentage. So I got to get it going here in week number 4.
Yeah, I always expect to win, Kenny and Brady. I always expect to win. I'll trip up every now and then because I get caught going with my heart instead of my head, And then after the game, and if I lose and he's, beat me that week or whatever, I just kick myself.
How many games do you think these two guys will lose combined this week?
Combined?
How many will the Stabler boys lose combined?
3, 4. Combined? Because I think they're going to pick a lot of the same.
That could be true. We'll find out.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be much dissension.
There could be some discrepancies between these two. I don't know. We've never had them together for one of our shows.
That's true. Right? We've been to Millie's with them.
Yes.
Over in Ottoville. So we're going to find out.
Brady could be a bulldog.
I guarantee you he's prepared.
I know he is. All right. Going to start in the Western Buckeye League. Wapakoneta 3-0, 2-0 in the league. Goes to Ottawa Glandorf, who is trying to get in the win column. Wapak has won 11 straight overall in this series. In the playoff era, leads at 34-16-2. Redskins have won 19 straight WBL games. Any chance for Kens pull off of a pretty major upset in this one?
I would begin by saying that the first half won't be easy for Wapak. OG's they're going to be prepared. They're going to play hard. And I don't think you're going to get a gaudy halftime score. But over the course of 48 minutes, Wapak will wear them down and I think end up rolling in this one.
Go ahead, Kenny.
I agree with that. I think there were some people that thought Coach Schreiner would maybe get a win, I think, last week, but, it just hasn't happened. It's on their home turf, but Wapak, Wapak's going to be too much for them.
There was some chatter going into week 3 about Defiance. In that Defiance-Wapak game, I think there were some people that thought Defiance could really hang in that game, and then Wapak wins it. I think it was 31-7 is what it ended up. So I think Wapak, I think they win this week. I think they win the league.
I agree. I'll take the Redskins as well. Salina 0-3, 0-2 in the conference so far. They go to Van Wert, who's coming off that loss to Bath back at Eggers Stadium. The Cougars now 2-1 and 1-1 in the Western Buckeye League.
Well, I will not pick Salina again.
You won't?
No, they burnt me last week. I should have a bigger lead than I do. They burnt me. I knew it. You knew St. Mary's was getting ready to bust out, and I took the bait, and I took Salina. They're in the doghouse, no pun intended. Give me Van Wert.
I got Van Wert too. I agree with you.
Coach Recker is going to have the kids refocus this week. I'm sure they're stinging about the way they lost. That was that was back and forth, literally. I saw the highlights. Van Wert will get back to their winning ways at home this week.
That was a tough loss, too, almost to the point where Van Wert, they may come out a little too amped up, and maybe, it's a little slower start for them, but ultimately, I think Van Wert wins it at home.
I agree with that. Cougars all the way around. How about Defiance going to St. Mary's? This is a game for both. You're going to have to win to stay in the WBL race. I don't think Wapak's, if they do slip up, it's not going to be more than once. This is a big one for both, and see what St. Mary's can do here, coming off that one a week ago.
I expect some dissension.
You do with this one?
There's no way all 4 are picking the same team here. Let's start with the Stablers. I'm curious what they think.
I'm going to go nostalgia here, and St. Mary's, the Rough Riders at home. Coach Fry, I just can't see them falling to 1-3. I think they've got a lot to play for with Defiance coming in, and the Bulldogs are gritty and they're tough, and I might be wrong on this one, but I'm going to go with the Rough Riders at home.
I thought he'd take Defiance.
I did too.
I'm going St. Mary's. Yeah,
I thought he'd take
I think they got
Defiance.
it going.
Doggone it.
You going to take the Bulldogs here, Coach Strock?
I thought for certain one of these two, maybe both, would go with Defiance, but Kenny said it, man. This is where I get myself in trouble, Kenny. I go with nostalgia and tradition and stuff, and I get bit sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. But St. Mary's at home. They got a taste of it last week. I'm going to take some heat from my Defiance buddies because there's a couple guys I'm pretty close friends with, and but I'm going with St. Mary's at home. I like that Defiance team. I mean, they're a veteran, tough line. They're good where you have to be in the trenches. They've got a pair of running backs that are tough in Gibbs and Camaso, but they were living on the edge week one. They held the point on that 2-point. They held OG on that 2-point. And so I'm going with St. Mary's.
Make it clean sweep. Give me the Rough Riders too.
That should be a great game. Don't you think it should be a good game? I mean, if Defiance shows up like they normally do, that's going to be a rock fight, isn't it?
It's going to be a rock fight, and I'm shocked. Of all the games on the slate, I thought there would be dissension in that one for certain.
You know what I'll say about that game, though, real quick, is they talk about it in college, home, how much is home field advantage worth? Is it worth 3 points? In the WBL, home field advantage feels like it's worth like 6 or 7 points to me. I don't know why, but for some reason in the WBL, it feels like home field means more.
So, Brady, I'm glad you said that. There's an area coach where I've mentioned, the game being at home and things, and he kind of looked at me like, that doesn't matter in high school. I beg to differ. Would you rather have Liberty Center on your home field or come here? You know what I mean? So I think it does matter. I'm not saying it matters as much as it would in the big house or the horseshoe. I'm not saying that, but I agree. It counts for something. So I'm glad you said that, had my back, because there's others that disagree, but I think it's worth something.
Frank Russell and Lima Bath seeking their first 4-0 start since 1999 with Shawnee in town. Do they get it done?
Shawnee's better. Shawnee's trending in the right direction, and I like where Shawnee's heading. But I'm a believer in Bath right now. I think if they stay healthy, they're good enough to lock horns with Wapak. Don't know if they can outlast them, but they're going to be there. I'm Team Bath up until that Wapak game, and then we'll reevaluate.
I got Frank Russell and Bath too.
Wildcats over the Indians. A lot of pride in that game. And like Tory says, Shawnee's got some things going on. Bath's got to tighten up that defense a little bit. They got to work on that, to tighten the screws a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. But they'll win at home Friday night.
You talk about their defense, but Bath's offense, they've 50, 56, and 35 points the first 3 weeks. I don't think Shawnee can keep up, so I'll take Bath to outscore them.
Good pick, guys. Kenton is at Elida. Did you see what freshman Xavier Gammon did last week for Kenton? 507 yards in his varsity debut, 35 of 44, 3 touchdowns, 20 keepers, 105 yards, and another touchdown. That's Matty Mock.
No kidding.
Ben Mock type numbers that he put up as a freshman last week. They go to Elida. Can Parker Krim get his hands on the freshman?
There's got to be dissension with this game. This, to me, is a coin flip game. There's got to be dissension. Brady, you start us off.
Elida, they're 1-2, but they have those 2 close losses. Shawnee, Van Wert, I think they're a little more battle tested. I do think it's close, but I think they finally find a way to win a close one. I'll take Elida.
Okay. Kenny?
Elida at home. It is a coin toss game, and if Kenton can build off what they were able to do last Friday night, that could be a dandy. But I like the dogs at home. For some reason, I'm just feeling Elida.
Interesting. I thought you guys might be split on that. I, too, have Elida highlighted. I think it's going to be a good football game, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Kenton goes off offensively.
Same.
Because they're capable, but I'm going with Elida. Do it, buddy.
I have Elida, but I feel like I could maybe get one on you guys right here. But I'm not going to do it. Can't be risking it. I got ground to make up. I can't lose more ground. Steady Eddie here. Week 4.
Hey, run the ball, play good defense. Yeah. Don't overthink it.
I'm going to give the victory to Elida in that one. The GMC, they get ready to get underway this week. They went 11-12 in the non-conference. Their only wins over teams above the 500 mark were Delta and Eden. Fairview beating Delta and Edgerton knocking off Eden. Hasn't been a great non-conference for the GMC, but if you look at Tenora's schedule, they played a heck of a non-league schedule, and so did Ayersville.
Oh, yeah.
They both played tough non-conference games here the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, Fairview did the heavy lifting there for the conference, beating a couple NWAL foes, which is never easy.
Right. Fairview 3-0, they go to Ayersville. The Apaches averaging almost 40 points a game, over 420 yards per game. They're allowing 197.3 rushing per game. Fairview's the lone GMC foe Ayersville does not have a winning record against all time. 23-27 are the Pilots against the Apaches. Fairview won the first 7 meetings in this series, going back to the mid-'70s.
You know, when we talked to Coach McCord and the Ayersville guys and talking about building that program, Fairview was in Edgerton a little bit too, but Fairview was the main team that they talked about as kind of the big bully that they had to overtake. And so that's interesting.
Not that matters. Ayersville's been outscored 123-23 so far, but boy, that schedule has been difficult for the Pilots.
This is going to be one, Kenny, I always like to reference Paul Wayne and his style of basketball. This, Ayersville is going to have a game plan that would make Wayno proud. They're going to have to control the football, move the sticks, going to have to score some points. That's going to be their recipe, but their best defense is going to be their offense and ball control against Fairview. But I don't think it's going to matter. Give me the Apaches.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Coach Mickey, Coach Rakes, boy, you talk about two good dudes, two good guys, good coaches too. They've just got different types of resources this year. You know, that's the life of small school football. The Apaches are looking real good, and they're going to go to Ayersville and win on Friday.
That schedule might pay off for Ayersville at some point, but I don't think it's this week yet. So Fairview, a little too much.
Doesn't get any easier this week for the Pilots, and they're going to fall to Fairview, I feel like. Hicksville 1-2 going to Tenora, who is 0-3. Tenora's won the last 6 against the Aces, all by pretty large margins. I like Tenora to get off the schneid and get win number 1 and be in this GMC race as it progresses. They're prepared, and I think they're pretty healthy as far as I know from that tough non-conference schedule that they played. So they'll be ready to roll here.
Yeah, I think that Hicksville is walking into a hornet's nest Friday night. Tenora's going to be frothing at the mouth. I mean, doggone. You could play really, really good, sound football and still be 0-3 with that schedule they play. And so now they're battle-tested, and I think they're going to roll in this game.
Starting to expect this a little bit now from Tenora, you know, not necessarily super surprising that they lost a couple games because of how good their non-conference schedule is, but now it's like here they come, guns a-blazing, come conference play. So they pick up their first win this week, and probably many more where that come from.
That non-conference schedule that the Rambos have had the last few years is I've always had mad respect for that, and it always gets them ready, like Brady said, for league play, and this year's not going to be any different. You know, when you play some of those hard hitters that they play those first 3 weeks, you're thinking, man, let's get to week 4. Obviously, we're going to be battle tested, but boy, we want to be healthy too. I wonder if they're banged up or if they have any injuries. But regardless, I think they're going to play for a lot on Friday night, and Pride being one of them. And like Coach Strock said, they're going to be fired up, ready to go. They're ready to get in the win column, and it happens for them.
Yeah,
on Friday night.
Owen Farrell's big time.
Yeah.
He's a really good quarterback for the Rams. He's got great accuracy and great arm.
Quick release, yep.
Yeah, and it's not like they got blown out in those 3 games either. I mean, they were close in 2 of those games. I think 2 of them were 1-score games.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, kind of rallied against Archibald
Yeah.
and Otsego late after being down by a couple scores. Edgerton 3-0 at Antwerp. The Archers got off the schneid a week ago with that win over Hilltop on Saturday night in West Unity. Where's Edgerton at in the GMC race to you guys? Do they have a chance to throw their hat in the ring?
I'm still trying to figure out what to make of the Edgerton team this year. You know, I look at Edgerton and Antwerp, they played the same non-conference schedule, played the same 3 teams. Edgerton's come out with the 3 wins. As far as in the GMC, I don't think they're in that top tier, but they're probably the next team. You know, if we're saying the top tier is Fairview, Paulding, and probably Tenora, then I'd say Edgerton's probably at the top of that next tier or near the top. So that they'll win several games here in conference play, and I think they beat Antwerp this week.
Do they pick off one of the big three? The Tenoras.
The big three better be ready.
Can they get them on a
Yeah, man, they better be ready, for sure. And Coach Flagel, he's got them going. I mean, they're on a roll right now, 3 straight, and they're going to go to Antwerp. And Coach Hale, you know who we love. We get to cover his football team, and he's got some things coming. It's just not going to be Friday night. I think Edgerton goes in there and gets the win, and I would say, yeah, be on alert. Those upper teams, those 3 that you guys talk about in the GMC at the top, when the Bulldogs come calling. We'll see.
Toughest place to play in the conference, Edgerton. So I don't know where they play those 3 teams at, but at home they're tough.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I too am going to go with Edgerton, but I think this. I think Antwerp trades punches with them, especially in the first half. I don't expect Antwerp to get run out of their own stadium in this game. I think they're going to play well. It's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Antwerp keeps it close for 2-3 quarters, and Baker and Sanchez throw some touchdown connections, and Edgerton pulls out that victory. Stabler Boys not going to pick this next one, as Paulding is at Wayne Trace. You have it on 99.7 WKSD, and then mysports.com or mysportslive.com. Live. Okay, perfect. Yep, so you can listen to these guys on Friday night as Paulding and Wayne Trace go at it. Paulding has not posted back-to-back 4-0 starts since the late 80s, 87 and 88. Paulding won the last 2 meetings. Wayne Trace leads the series in the playoff era 17-9. Give us a little insight on what we can expect on Friday night in this match.
Well,
I know it's early in the week, but what do we know about both guys?
This is our first look, my first look. I think Brady, the same case, first look at the Panthers. Very respected coach I talked to right before school started had faced them in the preseason and said, man, I'm going to tell you something, Kenny. He said, Paulding's skill guy is as good as anyone we have seen this summer, season portion. I know you got to be able to block and tackle and run the football, but man, their skill guys are really good. And they've broken some records already. Colt Hunt broke the single-game passing record, I think it was, this weekend down at Jefferson.
Did see that, yes.
Yeah, he threw for 347, and Blake Roanhouse got a couple of school records also, a career touchdown record, which was previously 23. Now he's got 27 TDs. And Blake also the career receiving yard record, which was previously close to 1,800, like around 1,780, and now he's got close to 19. He's at 1,889. Yeah, I've heard great things about Hunt, the quarterback, and I'm real excited to see Paulding and see what they've got. I think Wayne Trace is going to give them, we had the Raiders the other night against Crestview, and you see the final score, 41-20. Wayne Trace could have given up, and they didn't. I think they got better. Brady, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I thought they got more kids involved. I liked the play calling. They took some more chances, and like I said, they could have packed things up and said, we're done tonight. We'll refocus and try to get ready for Paulding next week. They didn't do that. So I think Wayne Trace, even though they're 0-3, gained a little bit of ground the other night in that game with Crestview, even though they were short on the scoreboard. But Paulding's going to be a big challenge for the Raiders, even at home. Paulding's just really got it going on from what I hear. I'm anxious to see the trenches, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good.
And Paulding started to gain a stranglehold back on the rivalry, really. And to be honest, outsiders looking at this game, I don't expect any outsiders to pick Wayne Trace in this game. Paulding, I think, over the first 2 weeks, they're the better football team. Colt Hunt's a veteran quarterback now, a lot of experience. The skill guys, like Dad mentioned, Jalen Manns, Jordan Manns, 2 of the best athletes in the Green Meadows Conference. Those guys on both sides of the football really making a lot of plays. Wayne Trace, though, they have gotten better each week. They're battle-tested. They've played New Bremen. They've played Crestview, so they've seen some good teams. The key for Wayne Trace is going to be, can they slow the game down, take care of the football, and keep Paulding's athletes, their offense on the sideline, because they can't score if they don't have the ball. Wayne Trace, I think over the first 2 games, they're -8 or -9 in the turnover margin. They have to win the turnover battle if they want to have a chance. And if they don't turn the ball over, it's going to be close.
Totally agree. They had 6 turnovers in that opener against New Bremen. You're not going to beat anybody when you put it on the ground 6 times, right?
Yeah. And Coach Holman, his tenure, he always seems like there's 2-3 games a year where he almost beat somebody that they probably shouldn't. And they just come up just a little bit short.
This game was always an opener for years. This was the Black Swamp Bowl. You know, when Paulding was in the Northwest Conference and Wayne Trace in the GMC, that used to be an opener, a week one matchup, and boy, it was always a great gate at both places, and I think that'll be the same at Wayne Trace this Friday. There'll be a lot of people there checking that out.
Good insight by both of you. Brady, you made me feel a little bit better about the comment I was getting ready to make. If you were going to pick an upset special out of our whole slate of games this week, that would be one, I'm not going to do it, but that would be one where I would kind of circle and say, on the right night, Wayne Trace could. Rivalry game, Wayne Trace is just starving for a win.
Well, come on, big boy, pick it.
You get Paulding rolling in there, feeling good about themselves. If Wayne Trace plays their cards right, they're going to be right there. I don't have the guts to do it, but I agree with the last thing Brady said. I think this one's going to be close, and Wayne Trace is going to have a chance late just because of the pride you talked about them displaying in those games. I'm going to go with the safe pick, Paulding, but I think Wayne Trace is going to give them all they want.
Paulding offense continues to roll this week.
Close or not?
No. 21 plus. Give me Paulding. They keep it going.
All right.
Before they get into the tougher part of that schedule, the second half of the season. Let's take a break, come back, and we're going to talk about the MAC slate coming up this week. American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store off Route 24 on State Route 109, just south of Liberty Center, now has 88 unleaded fuel and is your one-stop shop for fuel, food, drinks, and much, much more, including locally raised meats and home-baked goods. American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store is proud to support Black Swamp Football and is the host of the Black Swamp Football podcast, football show, and Saturday mornings Rise and Rewind. Stop in and see Glenn and Greg today and make American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store a part of your everyday routine. The Swanton Welding Company proudly supports our local student athletes and coaches. We're committed to being your local steel fabrication company in Northwest Ohio and building projects across the country. For job opportunities at the Swanton Welding Company, visit www.swantonweld.com or visit them at 407 Zider Way in Swanton. Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. Now going to talk about the MAC Conference and the slate that they have going on this week for the second week of their season. Going to start with New Bremen, who's undefeated at Versailles this week. Versailles leads the series 18-4. The Tigers won 18-17 a year ago.
Tough pick here. Brady, you've seen New Bremen, right? So why don't you start us off?
Well, I tell you, I think this is where I'm going to get a game on you guys, potentially, because New Bremen, they're 3-0. Their non-conference opponents, though, they don't have a win. I think their non-conference opponents are combined 0-9, and going to Versailles is not going to be easy. I really liked what I saw from New Bremen week one. They're big up front. I really like their quarterback. His ability to scramble, I think, is a difference in this one. I'll take New Bremen in an upset. Mini upset, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm taking Tiger Ball.
I'm going to make it short and sweet. I'm Versailles at home. Versailles, no question, for me.
Can't go against Versailles at home. Tiger Ball, just like you say. That's one of those games this week, though, that could be a coin toss. And New Bremen, we had them that night. I was in the press box next to Brady that night. I was impressed with them. I was impressed with the coaching. I was impressed with the QB. I wouldn't be surprised if New Bremen, I won't be blown away if that happens, but I'm going with Versailles at home.
That's where I win the week, right there.
I'll tell you what, we're going to see.
First time we've had a little dissension.
Yeah, we needed it. Yeah. We needed it. Brady had
Somebody's
the guts to do it.
Yeah. Coldwater, 2-1, 1-0 in the MAC. They go to Anna this week. Coldwater has dominated this series, 19-3. I'm going to take Chip Otten and the Cavs on the road. I think they battle tested with that loss to Clinton Massey. They're going to be right there again as the season progresses.
Yeah, I think they upped their mark to 20-3 there. I can't not pick against Coldwater. Give me the Cavaliers.
Coldwater's like fine wine. It seems like every year they get better as the season goes on. I'll tell you, the Anna Rockets have it going on, though, and they've got the Cavs right where they want. They're not in the shadows of McSober's.
Yeah.
They've got them at home. Which, by the way, I've heard you guys mention that a couple of times. You guys need to go there. They have great wings, don't they, Brady?
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
But, that's another game where if we get that final score and we get home Friday night and Anna pulls off the stunner, I don't think it happens. I'm going with the Cavs.
Rule of thumb for me in picking games, there's only 1 week every year you pick against Coldwater. And that's when they play the Flyers. I'm taking Coldwater.
He's a smart man, yeah.
Yep.
I got Coldwater as well on that one. This could be an interesting one. St. Henry 2-1, lost that great matchup a week ago to Marion Local, and Fort Recovery played Coldwater tough in week 1 of the MAC last week. As West Winning has the Indians at 2-1 and 0-1. St. Henry leads the series 25-5. Does Fort Recovery have a chance this week against another big-time MAC power?
Well, they're catching them at a good time because St. Henry's still going to have some wounds that haven't healed. But St. Henry, I just think there's Marion Local, and then there's St. Henry and Coldwater. And then, no disrespect, but I think there's everybody else. And I think St. Henry holds serve. I don't want to say the rest of the year yet, but they hold serve this week.
Yeah, St. Henry for me. One of the most impressive losses that I can remember in high school football last week, really.
Yeah.
So I'll take them.
Coach Winning's doing good work at Fort Recovery. He's got them at home if they're ever going to do it. That's the place, but the Skins are going to come in. They're going to come in ready to go. And could we see a rematch with Marion and St. Henry?
Got to feel like it's going
Postseason?
to happen, yeah.
I think it'll happen.
Yeah, they're in Region 28.
Yeah.
I think for sure that's going to happen. I think a lot of people I've talked to, those are the two best teams by far in Division 7 this season. I won't argue with that. Yeah. This one's going to be closer, I think, than maybe some expect. I think Fort Recovery will put up a fight into the second half, but St. Henry's going to get the win in this matchup. Marion Local looking to add to that winning streak, now at 67 straight, looking for 68 in a row as they have Delphus St. John's coming in. Delphus St. John's has not beat Marion Local since 2011, and if you look at the scores since then, it has been Marion Local big, 71-0, 56-0, 54-0, 35-0, 49-0, 24-0, 53-7. In 2018. They've allowed 7 points in all those years that I just listed. Boy, this has been a tough one for the Blue Jays, and I don't see it getting any better for them.
No, easy pick here, Marion Local. And St. John's will have them buckled up and give it the old varsity try. They absolutely will, but it will be enough.
Coach Schulte, keep your kids healthy. Boy, Marion Local in Maria Stein, that's a tall order. Got to go with the Flyers.
Yeah.
Marion Local for me. I will say this about Marion Local, just based off what I've heard, what I've seen. If somebody's going to get them, I think it needs to be this season. Because next couple years, they got a lot coming back.
Really good sophomore class, too.
I'm going to say that sophomore class I heard was really good. Yeah.
Just to hear people say that, it's like, gee, Christmas.
Yeah, beat them this year, they're going to win another 32, you know?
Somebody told me they'll beat an 80 if they finish this season off undefeated, their winning streak, which I think would be the 6th longest ever in the nation.
Guys, that's insane.
Something like that,
that's
6th longest
crazy.
ever. And with that sophomore class, and it sounds like with the junior high numbers, I mean, when does it stop? I mean, does it get to 100? If somebody doesn't get them this year?
When do they start putting them on ESPN Plus?
Yeah, the only way it doesn't continue is if they play some crazy, kickoff game down in Orlando against, Bishop Gorman or somebody. Yeah.
I mean, at some point, are they going to have to schedule like an Ironton? Because nobody else wants to play them. They had to go to Indiana this year to play somebody. Or that team had to come to Marion Local, but they had to go to Indiana to find somebody. I don't know that there's anybody lining up to play Marion Local.
No, I mean, Wapak was a
tried.
opener for a couple years, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Wapak have them on the ropes?
They did.
Yeah.
They did, yeah. But Marion Local always finds a way.
They do.
They always find a way. Round out the MAC this week. Minster is at Parkway. Minster 2-1, 1-0 in the MAC. At Parkway, 0-3, 0-1 in the conference so far. Minster going to get the win here. They lead the series in the playoff era, 34-17.
That was one of my losses last week, boys. I was down on the Minster Wildcats when they got tripped up by Afrocentric 2 weeks ago. I lost faith in them, and I picked Anna against them, and Minster rebounded quite nicely. They're going to go on the road and get it done at Parkway.
Well, I think Minster wins this football game. I think Brady better take Minster. He's in a wedding in Minster here in a few weeks, and if he wants his refreshments to remain cold,
That's right.
I think he better pick the Wildcats.
I'm taking them. I'm clean sweep there. I'm going Minster.
Okay, yeah. Minster for me is as well. Let's move it to the NWC where we have Spencerville at Columbus Grove as the Northwest Conference opens up play. The Bulldogs 0-3 for the first time since 2017. Grove has won the last 5 against the Bearcats. I think they make it 6 in a row, even though maybe some folks are down on Grove. They're going to get it figured out. They're going to be right in the mix for the NWC title again this season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, their schedule's kind of like, now Grove's schedule's tougher than Tenora's, but it's reminiscent of like Tenora's. I mean, it's bam, 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 and they don't back down from a challenge, and they're well coached, and I think they're going to get number 1 at Clymer Stadium Friday night.
I'm going Grove as well. Spencerville, you know what you're getting. You know they're going to run it right at you and try to play physical and tough and slow that game down. But I've told a couple of my friends, stay down on Grove at your own risk, because I'm with Lynn. I think they're right there for the conference. Their next 4 games are very winnable, and then they finish with Crestview, LCC, and Bluffton. So it'll be another tough finish to the season for them, but they'll be right there.
It's been a while since I've been to Clymer Stadium, but it's hard to go against the Dogs there, and they're hungry. Andy Schaefer's going to get them back on track, and shout out to Ned Steck-Schulte. I'm taking Columbus Grove.
Yeah, me Grove too. You think Grove's schedule's harder than Tenora's non-conference?
Yeah.
Even though Tenora's got Liberty Center on theirs?
Yeah, I don't think Otsego compares to Patrick Henry or Liberty Benton.
Okay.
I think that biggest divider there when I'm comparing strength of schedule. Liberty weighs heavily in Tenora's favor, but then you throw PH and Liberty Benton, and who am I missing? Pandora Gilboa.
PG,
Yeah, I think it favors Grove as far as strength of schedule. But having Archbold and Liberty 2 out of the first 3 weeks is no treat.
Just wanted to check on that. Just wanted to see. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. I stand by that.
Okay, all right.
I stand by that.
Just want to make sure. Taking our break and come back and talk about the NWOAL.
Hard-working individuals have been the heart of the Gherkin companies for generations. Together we construct the highways and infrastructure that strengthen our communities. Gherkin is seeking rock-solid performers. We offer generous benefits, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. Want to be part of something big, steady, and stable with room to grow? Whether you're experienced or just starting your career, we encourage you to apply at gherkincompanies.com/careers.
Ashball Aerial is a fully licensed commercial drone company providing aerial media for commercial, industrial, and agricultural clients throughout Northwest Ohio. Want a different perspective for your events, construction projects, businesses, and more? Call 419-966-3202 or check them out at ashballaerial.com or look us up on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. Move it over to the NWOAL as they finish 14-10 in the non-conference season. Brian 1-2 goes to Patrick Henry in Big Red Stadium this week.
Yeah, Patrick Henry, they got their mettle tested. Now their first couple games weren't much of a challenge for them, but Columbus Grove went on the road and tested PH's mettle, and I know Coach Inselman was happy with the way they responded, with the way they ran the ball, especially late when they had to. And Brian's on their way. Brian's on their way. If those kids can keep the faith, they've got the right man at the helm of that program. But the Patriots will roll this week at home.
Go ahead, Brady.
PH, they're rolling again, 4-0.
Big Red at home.
Yeah, I got PH as well. Liberty Center, 26 straight NWL victories. They go to Swanton, who has Ohio's longest losing skid now at 30 in a row. It was 70-0 last year. LC has won 38 straight regular season games. 55-7 in 2023, 42-0 in 2022, 54-0 in 2021, 46-17 in the COVID year, 54-31 in 2019, 40-14 in 2018, 28-7 LC in 2017, and Swanton's last victory over the Tigers back in 2016, 28-15.
I think that most of our listeners would think you'd have to go way beyond 2016 to find Swanton's latest win, but keep in mind, it wasn't too long ago.
So I don't think they won the league that year.
They might have.
Right in there when Mike Vickers was at the helm.
Yeah, I mean, they had a guy on that signed with the Lions, a couple weeks ago. I mean, so anyway, I don't think we're going to have any dissension in the ranks here with this pick. And as I like to tell Lynn on Friday nights, this game's going to be what it's going to be. And you just hope everybody comes out of it safe and healthy, both teams. But Tigers name their score in this one.
Make it official, guys.
Yeah, Liberty is just a different animal. I was talking with some friends down our way the other day, and I'm not just saying this just because we're sitting in Liberty Center, Ohio, but to me, the Tigers and their program and what they've been able to do, they're the closest thing in my eyes to a MAC school that we have up north here.
Yeah, no doubt. Agree.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Liberty Center for me.
Yep, give me Liberty Center as well. Archibald at Delta, the Black Swamp Gamecast this week, presented by the Sports Place at Wassione. So Tory and I will not be picking it. Delta led this one 17-0 and 24-14 with 9:58 left before Archibald rallied to win 28-24 a year ago. Could we have some dissension here between the Stablers?
My head tells me to never go against Coach Vickers at home, and this is going to be a great game. But I'm going to go with my heart. And we've got a guy with some Wayne Trace blood, Derek Baxa, that's one of the assistant coaches for the Blue Streaks. I'm going Archibald in this one on the road to get the Panthers.
I've got Archibald highlighted over here, but I don't want to agree with him because I think it's going to be that good of a game.
Yeah.
These two teams, they have two of the best non-conference losses of the smaller schools. Delta losing by 4 against Fairview, and then Archibald obviously losing close to St. Henry, coming back on them. I think it's a slugfest. I think it might be like first team to 20 or 21 wins it. I'll take Archibald.
Okay, you're going to stick with Archibald, huh?
I'll stick with them.
Okay.
No dissension.
Yeah, like Lynn said, we're not picking. Lynn, do you have some? I've got a couple things I'd like to mention about the Panthers.
Go ahead.
But,
go ahead.
You have some numbers and things you want to throw out?
I'll have them Friday night.
Okay. And we'll step on any toes.
Nope,
but,
go ahead. Nope.
I am, and I said this prior to the podcast recording, I am as excited to cover this game as I've been about a game the last couple of years. I truly am. I know it's a regular season game. It's early. But two coaches whom I have the utmost respect for, Mike Vickers, the veteran, and David Dominic, who I've said many times, one of the best young coaches anywhere for my money. Last year, I picked Archibald in that game, and obviously we're not picking tonight, but I picked Archibald in that game because Archibald's a team that I always have trouble picking against unless they're playing maybe Liberty or PH, with their tradition. And then I see, Delta's up 17-0, and I'm going, you idiot, and then Archibald ended up coming back and winning it at home. But Delta's got a stable of running backs. They play football the way I like to see it played. And there's some unsung heroes on that Delta football team. And the quarterback a lot of times in that system, and I'm telling you from experience playing over here for Coach Lindgren, a lot of times you're just handing the ball off and keeping it on an occasional bootleg and maybe throwing a waggle pass every now and then. But Emmerich Fries is a sophomore quarterback for Delta, and he hasn't been asked to throw it much, but when he has, he's been efficient. He's 11 out of 17. That's around a 65% clip. This kid won 4 letters last year: football, basketball, baseball, and track. Was a top 5 finisher in the 110 hurdles and 300 hurdles in the NWAL as a freshman. He's carried the ball 5 times, 50-plus yards and a score. I think he flies under the radar because of the guys behind him, Nagel and those guys. And so those guys, I want to see them get the credit they deserve, because in a different type of offense, you know, he's a kid that would shine. And I saw a clip from their Fairview game where it looked like it might have been a broken play. Maybe it was supposed to be a counter, but the running back didn't come get the ball. And he took off around the left end and showed that hurdle speed and stride. So Emmerich Fries is a young quarterback. Seems to be a lot of sophomores that are really good under center. Lynn and I talked about this week.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing Emmerich Fries and the rest of the Panthers. And always look forward to seeing a David Dominic coach team. So that's my little plug for young Mr. Fries.
Should be a dandy.
Can I ask a favor? I know you guys will be busy working that one. You don't have to shoot me regular updates. Can you shoot me a halftime score on that one? Send me a text on a halftime score on that.
Yes.
Because I'll be real interested in that one.
Kenny, we will, but you better rely on my good friend here.
If I don't get one,
Kenny, he's got one job on Friday night.
That's my point. Go
He's
ahead.
supposed to get the coin toss.
I'm 1 for 4.
He's 1 for 4.
easy to miss
He's done
those.
4 games.
Yeah.
He got the first one. But see, he likes to talk in the press box is his issue. But he knows a lot of people, and he starts talking, and then he doesn't know what's going on the field.
It's partly true.
It's fully true.
You're owning it.
You said something that's only partly true, and I'll get to that real quick. But I do only have one job, and that's why I said you better rely on him for the score, because I'll fail at that. And I've gotten 1 coin toss. He said I like to talk to people. That's where he's wrong. People like to talk to me. Okay? And so all I do is facilitate their needs. You know? So
see that.
And that's it. So
I mean, hey, if you're 1 for 4, that's a 250 batting average. That keeps you in the
This
big
isn't
leagues.
baseball, bro. We're not playing baseball.
or am I? We did that Thursday, Friday doubleheader. So we've done-
Did we do 5?
I think we've done 5.
2.
Oh, boy.
We've done 5, so you're 1 for 5.
Yeah.
You're down to 200, my friend.
The Mendoza line.
You might be in single A here pretty quick.
As long as I'm still in the game, baby. There's a chance.
Hey, let me ask you this. You're not picking the game. This quarterback, Fries,
Yeah.
does he throw 6 passes? 7?
I love questions like that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because they are going to have to throw it 6 to 8 times in this game. I think they're going to have to. And so I'm looking forward to him, getting out of the pocket and, throwing it a little bit. And Mike Vickers is hoping they don't ever have to throw it. Or at least, he wants to throw it when he wants to. So maybe you run a bootleg waggle or something on first down, or a belly pass where you get the halfback or fullback in the flat. That's a high percentage completion. But it'll be a chess match, and Vickers will have them ready, and David Dominic will have his streaks ready.
Evergreen 3-0 for the second straight year, not been 4-0 since 2015. They have Wauseon come to town. Indians won 7-3 last year, and the Indians have won 12 straight over Evergreen. And wanted to make note of this: Quentin Eisel is Lance Eisel's son. Well, that was a discussion on Saturday morning, and several people messaged us over the weekend that is, in fact, a father-son connection.
Which, along those lines, Lynn, I want to say thank you to those people, and I know, I know you mentioned it after one of the comments. Thank you for listening, but I mean it. Thank you to our listeners. We appreciate it. Yeah, Lance Eisel was a handful at running back for the Delta Panthers. He was a stud, and then we came across Quentin Eisel, and we said Saturday, I wonder if that's Lance's son. He plays at Evergreen.
Okay.
And the Panther faithful let us know that, yes, it is.
I got Evergreen. They're going to knock off Wauseon this year.
I've got some thoughts on this. Stablers, go ahead.
I was real close to taking Wauseon. I think it's real close, but Wauseon, they've had trouble generating points the last couple weeks, man. So I think Evergreen gets them here, and they go to 4-0.
Well, it's hard for me to see, to look at Wauseon slipping to 0-4, but I'm gonna use a Coach Strock reference and hope that this game is razor thin. I see the Vikings going to 4-0. I do.
I struggled with this one this afternoon. I sat there for most of my free period stewing on this one because of Wauseon's schedule. Fairview, Bellevue, Eastwood. How would Evergreen have held up against that schedule? Maybe they get one of those. I wouldn't have bet on it, though. 0-3, 3-0. I love upset specials. I am so close to going with Wauseon because I'm going to tell you something. Wauseon's going to go over there and get it done Friday night. But I'm not going to pick them.
Okay.
I'm not going to pick them because I love this quarterback, Bulger, at Evergreen. They're going to find a way to win it, but I'm going to kick myself because Wauseon might get it done.
They could.
But I'm going with Evergreen.
Yeah, I'm going with Evergreen. I think they're going to get it done.
Gosh, I think it's going to be close.
They got the team this year.
I agree.
NBC action this week. Going to start with Rossford, 2-1 at Eastwood, 2-1. The Eagles have won the last 6. NBC was 12-12 in non-conference play this year, if that helps you.
A pick's easy for me, even though
Release it then, release it.
Rossford's coach is one of my very best friends in coaching. Give me Eastwood at home.
Rossford's 2-1, but both their wins are against 0-3 teams, and I liked what Eastwood did, over Wauseon, so I'll take them.
Eastwood Eagles for me at home.
Yep, I got Eastwood too. Good point. Eastwood's battle test a little more than Rossford.
35-13 over Wauseon, man, I like that.
Lake, 0-3 at Maumee. Maumee won 49-7 and 51-21 the last 2 years. Those were the first meetings since all the way back to 1995. Can Lake slow down Maumee this season? I don't think they can. I think Maumee gets to 2-2.
I agree 100%. Give me the Maumee Panthers to even their slate.
Maumee over here as well.
Who did Maumee beat? Who was that one win against?
That was was that Waite? It was a City League team.
Okay. I think the Panthers win at home as well. Give me Maumee.
It was Waite.
Yeah.
Okay.
42-6. Lost to Springfield and Napoleon.
Yep.
See from our coverage area this week. Interesting game. Genoa, 2-1 at Otsego, 2-1. The Comets have won the last 3 in this matchup.
I'll tell you, Stablers, the Otsego Knights have as good a nucleus of sophomores as you're going to see anywhere. Quarterback, all over the place, skill positions. This young quarterback he's a talent, and he got loose on Liberty a couple times. Now you can't have a steady diet of that against Liberty. It just ain't going to happen. But he got loose a couple times and showed he's got some shake and stuff. I think he gets loose a couple times Friday night. I think Otsego hangs in there. I think this is a close game. But in the end, Genoa, with their experience, wins.
I got Otsego. Ooh, physicality wins out.
Ooh, another game for me, buddy.
I don't know enough about the Comets, and it's hard for me to pick against Otsego and their coaching staff at home. That sounds like that could be a really good game. 2-2-1 teams. It's interesting. Otsego's been good, and to hear what the future holds for them with that sophomore class, that's intriguing. I'm going to take Otsego Friday night.
If Otsego's young, I wonder how those guys bounce back from that last week. Do they come out and play real well? Are they a little slow starting out? Genoa, they almost beat Archbold week 1. They've got 2 since then. I think they make it 3 in a row. I'll take Genoa.
Smart man, Brady.
Kenny, we got him right here, buddy.
We got him.
Kenny, you got some bad advice. you hitched your wagon to the wrong guy, Brady. Good boy.
Took the bait, man.
Good boy. He took the bait.
We'll find out.
We'll see.
That's going to be a good game, though.
Should be a great game.
I'm telling you, that quarterback will get loose, and they got a big fullback. It'll be good.
Should be a dandy.
Blanchard Valley Conference, Lipsick 3-0, 1-0 in the league so far. At Pandora, Gilboa. This game is usually very tight. Last 6 meetings, the average margin of victory is 6.7 points. How about this? Lipsick leads the conference with 408.3 yards per game, but giving up a VVC worst 402 yards per Friday night. Mark Kirkendall leads the BVC in passing, 731 yards, 8 touchdowns. Marquise Williams has 355 yards rushing and leads the conference with 8 scores. This one is coin flip.
You think so?
Coin flip.
Is it?
Coin flip.
Not for me, it's not.
It's not? Well, then let's hear it.
Give me the Pandora Gilboa Rockets at home. In semi-convincing fashion.
Wow. What does semi-convincing fashion mean?
It's not going to be as close as you think.
21?
Hey, semi-convincing means it ain't going to beat them by 35.
That's a relative
but they're
term.
going to beat them by 2 or more scores. That's semi-convincing to me. Yeah, 14 or more.
I don't think so.
Give
me the Vikes.
Oh my goodness, my lead is going to be insurmountable at the halfway point of the season.
Come on, Joe Kirkendall.
Oh my goodness, the Fighting Gilbos. They're going to be partying at Stinky's after the game, I guarantee you. They are.
Coach Kirkendall is part of that Coach Inselman coaching tree, right?
Yeah.
And they're off to a great start. Still, the thing that stands out to me in this one, Pandora, that comeback they made, and I think you guys covered that first opener.
We
right?
didn't. We were in Defiance.
Oh, you were at Defiance Napoleon. But yeah, the comeback they made against Grove still kind of is fresh in my mind. I'm going to take the Rockets at home.
Smart man, Kenny.
Kenny, you moved to the other side.
Kenny, smart man.
This is the type of game where non-conference schedules really matter to me, and I think Pandora opening up with Grove and Bluffton, I think they're more battle-tested. I think they win.
Them getting spanked by Bluffton tilted your perception, didn't it?
Well,
Bluffton's good.
Bluffton's
really
good.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, they're win against Grove. I think that one could have went kind of either way, obviously. I like Lipsick. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I tried to help you out. I picked first. I gave you the pick, and nobody listened to me.
Now, here's the thing I'll say about him, okay? I don't like giving him too much credit. I try to avoid that. But here's the thing. There's times, because he's pretty well connected, okay? There's times he'll have some insight on a key injury or whatnot.
Yeah, come on.
And he won't share it.
I don't know nothing
He
about
knows
injuries.
something. You know something.
I don't.
What happened at Pandora?
I got nothing.
Well, then we're sitting pretty, boys.
As much as I know, the Rockets are at full strength. I have no insight.
Okay.
He'd be a good poker player, because I don't believe him.
Sometimes you just got to leave them on the island, Tory.
That's right, buddy. I've done it before, Brady.
Vikes are averaging over 400 yards per game. Over 400. They got the leading passer. They got the leading scorer in the conference.
And Pandora Gilboa has
Mr. Burkholder.
one of the best players after you get past Liberty Benton's Elkerts and Barbara and the whole slew of them, but he's up there.
All right. Riverdale 0-3 is at Liberty Benton, and the Eagles are undefeated so far and have been impressive. LB 10-0 all time against the Falcons. LB has allowed 383 yards all year. Riverdale has a BVC worst 468 yards this season. Seth Elkert headed to Toledo, already 19 catches, 393 yards, 6 touchdowns. Does Riverdale get 100 yards in this matchup?
Well, no, even with subs and things like that. The only commonality here is the school colors, and that's where it ends. No, they don't get 100. I love questions like that, as I said. No.
Who gets the win? There's any doubt here.
I'm going to go with
Make
Liberty.
it official.
I'm going to go with Liberty Benton since they're at home.
I got LB too. This one's not hard to think about.
I think it's the lock of the week. Eagles, Liberty Benton.
I've got some ties to this Liberty Benton team. So Coach Garlock, his daughter, is a classmate of mine in physical therapy school.
Oh, nice.
The Elkert boys, their mom was a professor of mine in physical therapy school at Finley. And I'll tell you something. I don't know the guys. I don't know Coach. I don't know the boys. But I know Dr. Elkert and I know Taylor, Coach's son. You're talking top-notch people, just fantastic people. I'm rooting for Liberty Benton this year. I think they go 10-0, and I think they obviously win this weekend.
Let me ask you this, Brady. Does Liberty Benton running clock the BVC?
Ooh.
Does anybody keep it under 30 in the second half?
They were up 52-0 on Macomb Friday.
52-0 at half.
You got to figure in conference play, high school kids, somebody's going to hang with them one week, right? They're not going to be clicking on all cylinders one week. I would say, I'm going to say no to answer your question.
Okay.
But it'll only be once.
I love it. I thought maybe that was going to be your upset special this week, Riverdale over LB.
No.
You haven't given us your lock yet. Do you have one?
No, Kenny, my rule is you can't.
Can that be a lock? Can he have that as his lead pipe lock?
I'm going to tell him the parameters, though. It can't be.
There's some caveats.
You can't make Liberty Center over Swanton your lock of the week. It's got to be a semi.
Okay.
Close
I'll remove
game.
that then.
That's nullified.
Yeah, I'll nullify
I
it.
made the same mistake. I picked my lock last week, and then I looked at it, and I go, no, that's not.
Yeah, that's
So
fishing in the barrel, right?
there you go.
Gotcha.
So we'll revisit that.
Okay.
Yeah. Give everybody LB in that matchup. Elmwood 0-3 goes to Ada, who is 2-1 and 0-1 in the BVC. Mitchell Oliver for Elmwood, he's put up a big first third of the season, 27 catches, 270 yards already in that Oliver family that's produced some major talent over the years there at Elmwood. Does Elmwood get on the board this week with a victory?
No. I think Ada's stout. They're solid. And they're going to hold serve at home at War Memorial Stadium. Give me the Ada Bulldogs.
I think Elmwood gets on the scoreboard, but not on the standings board. I'll take Ada.
Okay.
Ada Bulldogs are going to move to 3-1, and that's at War Memorial Stadium, Tory. I broadcast games from there. That, when Paulding was in the NWC, and of course Crestview in the NWC, we had a chance to go there a few times. That's a neat place, old school type of place, and I think Ada's going to get it done.
Yeah. I played a game there, Kenny.
You did.
We played Ohio Northern.
Okay. Yep.
At War Memorial under the lights in '94.
Oh.
And
Nice.
we beat them. We went for 2 at the buzzer. We scored to make it 28-27, and we dumped a little flat pass for the 2-point conversion play. Dumped a little flat pass to Gary Smitty from Defiance High School.
Yeah.
And he finished it off. Beat him 29-28. So I have fond memories of War Memorial.
Yeah. Take our final break, come back, talk about the NWCC. Can North Baltimore keep it rolling? They're already 3-0. We'll also talk about the TAC, the CHSL, the Northern 8, and then we'll get into our non-conference games here in week number 4.
High school seniors, uncertain that college is right for you? Concerned about the cost of higher education? At the Gherkin Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods even without a degree. That's a good living straight out of high school with no tuition debt. Starting pay between recent college grads and those with high school diplomas is closer than you might think. So if you enjoy teamwork, working outdoors, and being part of something meaningful, consider your options at GherkinCompanies.com/careers.
The fall sports season is here, and the Sports Place at Wassee on Ace has you covered. Stop in for all your football, volleyball, soccer, and golf practice gear and accessories. Did you know that the Sports Place at Wassee on Ace can create custom t-shirts while you wait? We can and we will. Come in with an idea and walk out with that perfect t-shirt of your own creation from the Sports Place at Wassee on Ace. We also offer custom embroidery. Whether it's a shirt, jacket, or other item, the Sports Place can fill your embroidery needs. Stop in and see us at 1495 North Shoup Avenue in Wassee. KK Collision is a leader in the auto repair industry that has been servicing Northwest Ohio's auto needs for over 27 years. We offer a fast and reliable repair option that stands above the competition. When your vehicle enters our facility, you can be assured that you have chosen the most technologically advanced repair facility in the area.
KK Collision is an automotive body and mechanical shop, as well as both a light and heavy-duty towing service located in Liberty Center. Our towing services cover Northwest Ohio and the surrounding area 24 hours a day. Are you in need of a repair estimate? Visit us anytime during business hours for a free estimate at T556 Ohio 109 on the north side of Liberty Center, or call 888-533-7801 or visit our website at kkcollision.com. Thank you to Kyle Kern at KK Collision. Get back on our YouTube channel if you're watching our podcast this week. Going to revisit 1993 with some folks from Wauseon and Liberty Center on our KK Collision football show. You remember the name Corey Griggs, Kenny?
I certainly do. I wish my son would have been around to see Corey Griggs perform in any of the three sports that he performed in. That guy, you talk about an all-timer, one of the best athletes around. I mean, I'm in my 37th season of broadcasting, and I never got to do Corey on the baseball field or in football, but I sure saw him in basketball. I had the night he scored his 1,000th point. I think it was down at Van Wert High School in a non-league game. That dude was a talker, but he could back it up. And I hope I get to meet him someday, because I want to talk to him. Just, he was interesting when he was in school, and I bet he's interesting now.
Well,
he's got a couple of daughters that are outstanding softball players, too, I hear.
Well, you just have to stick around a little longer after our podcast ends. He will be here.
He's going to be here tonight?
He is.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing our podcast first, then we do our KK Collision football show right after that. But stick around. You can meet Corey. I remember when, I don't know if he did his basketball game at State. He made a half-court shot, if you remember this. At the end of the
come back and do like a pump fake from half court again.
Took the inbounds pass, and they may have been playing Ironton, because I think they played Ironton. They played them in the football state championship, and I think they maybe played them in the basketball state final. And he got the pass at half court. And he pump faked like he was going to shoot half quarter, and just shook his head.
Man, they were so good. And I don't mean to get off the subject, but in basketball, I always thought Chad Burt was the glue guy for those guys. And Corey was so good running the point. I wish I would have gotten to see him live in football, and even baseball, too, because I've just heard stories from so many of my friends and people from up here. He was the real thing. And those Wauseon teams, man, they were good. He's close to your age, Tory, probably. A little younger, maybe a year or two?
He was a sophomore when I was a senior.
Okay.
Yep, looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, that'll be great.
You want to tell Kenny the story when you played with him your senior year and he was a sophomore?
Yeah, so we
I'm sure we'll get into that on our KK Collision show too. But
we will, and it's funny because Corey was a talker, but I told Lynn on Saturday he could back it up
every time.
He could back it up. Where we had their number though was in football. You know what I mean? And then now they'd get us in the other things, but at Liberty Center, football is how you measure. Right, superiority. So my senior year, we go to Wauseon, and they were a bunch of upstarts. They were a bunch of sophomores, Corey Griggs and those guys.
Gotcha.
And we ended up winning the league. Go in there unbeaten in the league, and they're beating us at halftime. You know, and that didn't happen much. And we're running off the field at halftime, and Griggs comes right up beside me as I'm jogging off. He goes, "Strock, I thought you guys were supposed to be good." And then he took off running. And I'm like, son of a gun. You know? And we ended up winning the game.
You showed him in the second half how good you were.
We did. We ended up winning by a couple scores. I actually had an interception in the second half off of him. And so we ended up winning, but I remember after that game.
Didn't win by much, 31-24.
Yeah, about right.
Yeah. Then once you graduated, then they got the best of Liberty Center.
Yeah, but we spanked Wauseon my junior year over here at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
42-0.
Yeah, that wasn't that close. That wasn't even that close. Boy, we took them behind the woodshed. And that Wauseon was a school you love to do that too. You know what I mean? Because you know they might get you in some of the other sports. But that team, I remember after that game going, oh my God, they're going to be good the next couple years.
Yeah.
And Corey and I, to this day, Kenny, have a really good relationship. We keep in touch.
That's great.
Yeah, just a mutual respect.
They got better and better. That class, they were sophomores. I remember how good they were as sophomores. They just got better and better.
Yeah. Now that he was a junior the year they won state in football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
Colin Lane,
and those guys were seniors. Yeah, Colin Lane. Yep. Zero time on the clock. Is Corey? I'm putting you on the spot here, but is he, one of your top all-time athletes overall that you've covered in your career? Is he top 5, top 10, whatever?
Oh, sadly, I didn't get to cover him, and I covered him like 3 times maybe. I saw him a few times, but oh man, he's right up there. Yeah, for sure.
Any other guys jump out at you? You've done this how many years, Kenny?
This will be my 37th of doing basketball, but Corey was so impressive to me just because he was good at all of them. I picture him as like a Little League baseball. What kind of a Little League baseball player was he? I bet he was something.
Well, Kenny, I told Lynn, I played against him.
Yeah.
In Little League, we'd go to Wasion for a tournament, and just what you would expect. Threw it harder, hit it farther, just did everything. And the thing that stands out the most to me is I've never seen an athlete like him make it look so easy. Just
he was
so
a natural.
Easy. He was a natural.
When they say generational talent, he's one of those guys, isn't he? For sure, without question.
Yeah. The day he was born, he was blessed, and he did. He made it look easy. And
that Wasion team in '93. I know we're talking football. He can put them right up there with anybody in this area.
Yeah, I didn't get to see them play football in person. Just read about him every week and heard about him every week.
Some great linemen and Tyson Langdor for Gordy Fry. I think Gordy Fry is a guy that kind of gets lost in the mix of that team, but Gordy was a heck of a player.
Yeah.
They had a Bannister on that team that was outstanding.
Yeah, remember him too.
And then Pat Milne.
Milne was a burner in the backfield. A burner. He was a great 100-meter guy too.
Yeah.
And Mark Emmons did a great. I mean, he had talent to burn, and some people think, well, that'd be great having that much talent. Well, you got to manage it. Sometimes you don't have enough footballs or basketballs to go around, and Mark Emmons was the right guy for that job.
Yeah. All right, we get off script here on this show. We never have a script.
No.
Get back on
don't believe it.
on task here. NWCC this week. North Baltimore. Boy, are they dipping into their past. Haven't been 3-0 since 1995 when they went 10-0. Cooper Clark. I know Max Prep doesn't have all the stats from every player in the nation, but if you get on Max Prep's, Cooper Clark has the most receiving yards of anybody in America, 628 yards through 3 games for North Baltimore. They have Corey Rawson coming to town, and they get to 4-0 for me. They keep it rolling.
There's no doubt about it. And talk about one of the great traditions in Ohio history. Corey Rawson had some of the top teams ever in the state of Ohio, and that program has really changed over the years, numbers-wise and stuff. And there was a time when I would not have ever picked North Baltimore against Corey Rawson, but this ain't it. Give me the Fighting Tigers. They've got it rolling.
North Baltimore.
Brady's wearing orange and black over there. I think that's North Baltimore's colors. I'm going to stick with that. I'll go North Baltimore as well.
Agreed. Clean sweep there. TAC action gets going, and a new look TAC this season. They were 8-13 in the non-conference, no wins over teams with a winning record in their non-league portion of the schedule. Summerfield, Michigan, 2-0, is at Eden this week as they head to Williams County. First ever meeting between these two programs in the TAC opener.
I think 3 of these 4 games on our TAC slate, 3 of the 4 are 3 of the most difficult games to pick a winner this week for me. So I'm not going first. I'll
go first. I don't know anything about the Summerfield Bulldogs other than their nickname and that they're 2-0 and that they've scored some big points this year. I'm a Bob Owen guy. I'm going Bomber ball at home. That might be the wrong pick, but I'm gonna go with Coach O and the Bombers at home.
I like Coach Owen. I do. He's got some youth. He's got some athletes.
I know where this is going.
I'm taking Summerfield.
What do you know about Summerfield, Brady?
They were 8-2 last year. I know that, and they've scored points this year.
They're well coached. I know that.
This cat does his homework. Some of us have to work in the daytime.
Yeah,
I got Summerfield too, buddy.
Well, then that's who I'm going with. It's Kenny. I was gonna go with you. And very seldom do I jump on somebody.
He swayed you, didn't he?
He did. And very seldom do I jump on somebody's coattails. I'm my own man. But these games, I'm telling you, especially with the new teams in the TAC, you don't have a feel for them.
Yeah.
Or a sample size. And
I'm the same.
Eden at home is going to be a handful. I'm just telling you.
They got to do something with their defense.
And that's why.
And Summerfield's been scoring a lot of points. That's going to be, that could be a problem.
It will be a problem. I'm going with Summerfield.
Now we know who Coach Strock trusts more between Brady and Kenny.
Yeah.
We knew.
We knew that coming in.
He has always given me that Brayton Martin vibe. Okay? And those are guys that I'm willing to hitch my wagon to. I don't trust many people.
That's a compliment.
Brady. I don't trust many people.
That's pretty high praise.
Thank you.
I'm not Brayton Sharp. Brayton would be able to tell you Summerfield's starting lineup.
There's a chance.
Yeah. How about North Central at Ottawa Hills? They go to the Village in a matchup
another
of
tough one.
1 and 2 teams. And again, the first meeting, all these in the TAC to open up that slate this week are the first meetings between these two. But I'm going to go green and white.
That's one I'm not going to waver from my original pick. I think this is a tough pick. But Ottawa Hills at home in the Village, give me the Green Bears.
Ottawa Hills.
I'm going Ottawa Hills as well at home.
Okay. Thought he was.
Do they serve filet mignon at Ottawa Hills? There are a lot of places have hot dogs. They got like filet on a hot dog run there.
That's a stereotype, Kenny. That's a middle-class community.
Hilltop 0-3 goes to Whiteford, Michigan this week to take on Todd Teakin and his Bobcats.
Going to be a tall order for the Cadets. I want to see them punch one in the win column, but it ain't going to be this week at Whiteford Agricultural School, I'll tell you that. Give me Whiteford.
Yeah, Whiteford for me as well.
I got Whiteford.
I have the Bobcats as well.
Okay. This one on Saturday, Montpelier is at Erie Mason, Michigan. The Locos 1 and 2, Erie Mason 0 and 2. Again, first meeting on Saturday night in this matchup. I'm going to take the Locos. They're going to get the victory here. Hayden Sharps and crew gets it done on the road.
Yeah, I don't want to be swayed, so I want to jump in here before these guys. I have Montpelier highlighted, love Coach Robinson, like this senior group at Montpelier. I got them going on the road and getting the win.
Montpelier for me as well.
Okay.
Montpelier, yeah, they might have found something last week against Edgerton, I really think.
That was a close game, closer than many expected. Good point, Brady. CHSL this week, Central Catholic, they're 0-3. Do we have reason to be concerned, Kenny?
Some places would be concerned. I'm going to use this as my lead pipe lock.
Ooh, I like that.
I think the Irish.
Can he do that?
Can I do that?
Is this one allowed?
Well, Central's a prohibitive favorite in this one, but they're 0-3.
I've got another one I can wait on, but I think they're going to pick up win number 1, head back to Cherry Street, happy.
Okay.
And they're going to get on a run then, too.
Can't disagree with you, buddy.
Yep.
I, too, am going to go with Toledo Central Catholic to get win number 1.
Same here.
Yep, I got the Fighting Irish in that matchup. So waiting on the lead pipe locks here.
I've got mine. I was going to say it.
I'm going to rescind that one, of course, because of the Irish being.
You got to be careful around this guy, Ken.
Yeah,
He's tough.
I'm good with that.
I'm going to go ahead and release my lead pipe lock.
Now?
I'm just going to, because we've already picked it.
You see Central Catholic's schedule? They played the top 2 teams in Michigan, Detroit Cass Tech and Detroit Catholic Central. And then Walsh Jesuit, they're 3-0 here in Ohio. So it's not like they've lost to bad schools, and Walsh Jesuit has rolled over Springfield and football, North Inc. via Clarkson, Ontario last week is who Walsh Jesuit played.
Yeah. They come down to Ohio a lot.
You know the football North Inc.'s
I've seen them
mascot?
on a lot of.
You know their mascot? You got that one?
No, that one eludes me.
Okay, all right.
My lead pipe lock, though, I'll say it now since it's a game we've already picked. My lead pipe lock, the Pandora Gilboa Rockets.
That's your lead pipe lock?
Lead pipe lock. Lock it up. Bet the farm. Bet your savings. Bet your kids' college fund.
Ooh.
Pandora Gilboa.
Ooh, okay, all right. See about
Pretty
that.
bold. I like it.
Boy,
I do too.
That's going out on a limb. Ooh, okay. Northern 8, got to recuse myself from picking these games as commissioner. Danbury 3-0 at Holgate this week.
See, that 3-0 mark isn't going to faze me because the Lakers are going to roll into Henry County, and Holgate Tigers will be ready. Give me Holgate to defend home turf.
Yeah, Holgate for me.
Yeah, I'm a Wayne Trace guy, and, we go back a long ways with Holgate when they were in our league, so I got to show my allegiance to the purple and gold. Go Holgate.
Okay. On Saturday night, Stryker going to Sandusky, St. Mary Central Catholic, who is 3-0 this season.
Tall task for the Panthers, and I hope they can go and compete. But you want to talk about football tradition? St. Mary's, Sandusky St. Mary's, and it's taking a different form now in the 8-man game, but there's still a lot of pride there. Give me Sandusky St. Mary's.
Tory, I was gonna ask you or see if you agree with me. Back when I got a few years on you, but when I was in school, and probably when you were in school, Sandusky St. Mary's, they were always tough. Always tough.
Oh.
I'm going with them this week, by the way, too.
Yeah, and not just in football, Kenny. My head basketball coach, who was like a second father to me, Jeff Palmer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Coach here in Liberty, right?
Head basketball coach at Liberty. Was a key player on Sandusky St. Mary's state championship basketball team back in the early 80s. I want to say maybe it was 80, maybe right around there. And so I always had an affection for them. And I met a football coach from St. Mary's. His name was Toby Notestein, who's a legendary offensive line type guy, wing T type coach that coached a long time there. Saw him play over here at Tiger Stadium at the time at Liberty Center, Sandusky St. Mary's. Oh my goodness, they were loaded. At that time, they were running like 5 wide spread, like Bob Owen at Fairview.
Yeah, wow.
But that's a proud tradition.
For sure. Non-conference games this week. Going to start with St. John's at River Rouge, who is 1-1. The Johnnies 1-2. The series tied 1-1. River Rouge won 12-6 in OT last year. 2 years ago, St. John's won 29-22. So if history speaks for anything, it's going to be a tight one. This is the home of Jeff Ratliff, right, Coach Strock?
You stole my thunder. But here's the thing that these Rouge kids have to realize. Jeff Ratliff ain't walking in to help them Friday night. They're on their own. Okay.
What if he does? What if he shows up?
If Ratman shows up and the Rouge kids see him, it would change my pick, but I don't think he's going to be in the Rouge. With that said, give me St. John's to get it done in the Rouge. They're not going to be intimidated under Joe Horn.
I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. And when I see the word rouge, I start thinking about gumbo and all that stuff, and I get hungry. But it's hard for me to go against them. But I think the Titans of St. John's are going to get that win on the road and head back to Airport Highway after a long bus ride, and just like Central Catholic.
Want me to go, Brady? Go ahead. I'm going to take the Johnnies on the road.
Are you? I thought you might go Rouge.
I was thinking about it, but these games have been close. I think this St. John's team is better than they were a year ago, and it went OT. I don't know a whole lot about River Rouge this season, I guess, but give me the Johnnies.
I didn't really need another game because you guys gave me New Bremen earlier, but I'm taking River Rouge.
Are you? Mm-hmm. I got a tidbit, and I know we're taking a long time, and I do this sometimes, Stablers. I apologize, but I thought so I had to pull it up. So Saturday night, I'm at the Bluffton University season opener against Kenyon. Heck of a game under the lights at Bluffton. Bluffton ends up winning 20-17. Well, they were down 17-3 at halftime. And on their final drive, it was like 4th down and 10. The quarterback, Tywan Clark from Toledo Central Catholic, he's really good. He throws one deep over the middle, and the guy's covered. It's Nigel Payne, 5'6" slot receiver, makes a one-handed catch, laid out at midfield. ESPN caliber.
5'6"?
5'6", and he's from River Rouge. And unbelievable. 5'6" slot receiver, and the safety was like 6'2". And he just somehow went up and made the catch. Nigel Payne. He isn't going to be playing for Rouge either Friday night, so they're going to be in trouble.
They could use him.
Clyde, they're going to the Glass Bowl on Friday night to take on St. Francis and Josh Linke. Knights lead the series 3-1. They won 30-13 a year ago. Clyde trying to avoid their first 0-4 start since, how long ago do you think it's been since the Clyde Flyers were 0-4?
I've been watching them for a long time. I watched them through the 90s when Chad Long won a state title. I was in college. I'm going to say 1986 or something that far back.
7 years off, 1979.
Okay.
Was the last time they were 0-4. They went 0-10 that season, did Clyde. I'm afraid it's going to happen again because I got St. Francis.
Could they go 0-10?
Clyde?
No, you said I'm afraid it's going to happen again. I thought you meant go 0-10.
No, I'm saying it's, 0-4.
Okay, gotcha.
0-4,
Gotcha. No, I'm sorry. I agree. One thing you know, Clyde's going to slug it out with them. They're not going to back down, but St. Francis gets it done at home. I agree.
I got St. Francis as well.
Clyde historically has had some hard-nosed kids. We got a guy at our radio stations. He does all the color for the Van Wert Cougars. Scott Truxell, he's a Norwalk guy, and he kind of has always filled me in on a lot of the traditions and a lot of the teams, even how they're doing currently. He's the editor of our internet newspaper, VW Independent, as well. I give them a little plug, but Scott keeps me up on what's going on over in that area. But I think St. Francis will be too much for Clyde. Give me the Knights.
Yeah, I think St. Francis gets on a little bit of a roll here. We'll see if they get to 7 wins, and we head to Cherry Street in a couple months here. Lima Senior 2-1 at Anthony Wayne. First time these two teams have ever met on the gridiron in the playoff era.
Yeah, the Generals will prevail, but wouldn't be surprised to see Lima Senior get loose a couple times, stick in a couple of scores. They're pretty well coached down there in Lima as well, but Anthony Wayne will find a way to get it done. Coming off of a nail biter against Napoleon Friday night, but they'll improve this week and they'll beat Lima Senior.
I'm going Anthony Wayne, big.
AW, you guys are Northern Lakes League guy. With Tory, I know you are. You coached in that league. AW's got some dudes, don't they?
Yeah.
Not as many this year.
Yeah.
But they still have some dudes.
Yeah.
You know, even on an off year, they're still pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
But, they're retooling a little bit.
Okay.
But
I'll go with Anthony Wayne for sure.
Schaller Stadium, a tough place to play. Generals get it done in White House on Friday night against the Lima Senior Spartans. Bowling Green 0-3 at Northview, who was 1-2. Northview snapped that 15-game skid with their victory over Start last week. They scored all of 20 points a season ago. They got 31 just last week in that victory. Northview has not won back-to-back games in 4 years. BG has been outscored 144-17 so far here in 2025.
arguably the toughest pick of the week, and I mean that when I say it. You could take a coin and just flip it, and that's what this is. I'm going to go with Northview at home, only because they're at home. I think they got something to be excited about, and those kids know when they look at their schedule playing in that gauntlet of the Buckeye Division, there aren't a whole lot of wins left out there, and they're going to savor this one on the heels of that start win last week. Give me Northview.
Bowling Green's struggling, so I'm going to take Northview.
Northview rejuvenated. They're excited. They're going to win another one.
Northview Wildcats are going to get back-to-back wins for the first time, you said, what, in 4 years?
2021 was the last time
Yeah.
back-to-back victories in a season. Yeah,
Southview got them in week 1, right?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're going to win this week.
yeah. Perrysburg 2-1 at Springfield, who is also 2-1. The Jackets have won the last half dozen meetings in this series. Man, Perrysburg, I think, is maybe better than we thought, and I like them again this week.
Yeah, I echo that. They flew under the radar a little bit in the preseason, I think, and They've got really, really good team speed. We know they're well coached, and they're going to go on the road and win at a much improved Springfield.
I listen to you guys, and you tell me good things about Perrysburg, so I'm taking them.
Does listen to us.
Yeah, I believe he does.
Springfield turned some heads early on, didn't they?
Darn right.
I really think they did, but they don't have enough, I don't think, on Friday night. Perrysburg sounds like they're really good. I'll go with Yellow Jackets.
Tough ask for the Blue Devils at home. I'm going to take Dirk Connor and Perrysburg in that matchup. Another matchup of 2-1 teams. Maybe the favorite in the Buckeye and the favorite in the Cardinal division. Is Whitmer the favorite in the Buckeye still, Coach, or is Perrysburg right there now?
I think you have to give the edge to Whitmer, but I think Perrysburg could win that division. I really do.
Yeah.
Really do.
Whitmer's won the last 4 against the Little Giants.
Yeah, again, Fremont Ross on paper was the pick to win the Cardinal division, as Lynn said, and they're at home at Don Paul Stadium. They're tough there, but didn't go matter. Whitmer's gonna, and they're in the midst of that crossover, those crossover games, and Fremont Ross always has some of the toughest crossover games because they're not the same for everybody. But give me Whitmer.
I really wanted to take Fremont Ross here, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it, so I'm taking Whitmer.
I didn't want to take Fremont Ross because that's the home of Charles Woodson. While I respect Charles Woodson, he was one of our,
Nemesis.
One of our nemesis.
Yep.
And I'll go with Whitmer. I'll go with Whitmer on the road.
Yeah, Whitmer's got a little too much in this matchup. I'll take Whitmer to win that one to move to 3-1. Findlay 2-1 is at Southview. Southview 1-2 through the first 3 weeks. Kenny, who do you like in this one?
I wasn't sure what to make of Findlay starting out the year, but I see, they got things going a little bit here, and, Southview, after getting that opening week win over Northview, they've lost 2 in a row. I think the Trojans win on the road.
I'm with you, Kenny. I don't think Findlay's not, what they were. Some of their wins probably aren't going to be overly pretty, but I think they're going to have enough in the tank to win one at Southview, but I think it'll be fairly close. I truly do. And but I'll take Findlay in a close one.
Yeah, I like Findlay.
I got Findlay by 3+ touchdowns.
Oh, they're rolling.
Trojans roll, I think, up in Sylvania on Friday night. Napoleon 1-2 is at Clay. The Eagles 2-1. Napoleon won 35-34 in triple overtime 2 years ago. Clay won 35-14 last year. Those were the first meetings since all the way back in 2000 when they were GLL foes at that time. Go ahead, Mr. Stabler.
Man, I'll tell you, this is tough for me. I know Clay's tough as nails. I mean, they lost, I think, at Wapak in week 1, but they're 2-1, and I hear great things about them. But these Napoleon kids, Tory, you spend your days with those kids. You know how tough they are. I mean, that 1-2 record, man, I just don't know. And are the Wildcats, were they missing, was it George Eggers? Is he back?
I am not going to speak on that.
Okay. Could we see him this week? Maybe.
That's the hope.
Okay.
It would be extremely limited if he did, Kenny, because they're being super cautious. I also wouldn't be surprised if you don't see him at all, but I know their fingers are crossed, as they have been every week, but he's one of the best football players in this part of the state.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, I want to pick Napoleon really bad. If I went with my heart, I would take the Wildcats. I'm going to go Clay.
Go ahead,
Clay
Lynn.
for me as well.
I've seen Clay. I've seen Napoleon. I think Clay's better. I'll take Clay in this matchup.
Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. Not so fast. Napoleon beat them 2 years ago at Buckenmeyer Stadium in double overtime. They had Mason Heinschel, who's now at Pitt. Napoleon went on the road last year, Heinschel's senior year, and traded scores with a veteran Clay football team. Whether George Eggers plays or not,
it was 35-14 a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, late. Clay scored a couple late, but they were supposed to kill Napoleon. Napoleon goes on the road, whether they have George Eggers or not. And they give the ball to Hayden Groll about 25 times.
Well, that's a good last name.
And yes, yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Pretty good.
They get it done. They go to Clay, and
Wow.
it stinks for Napoleon. This is the second year in a row they had to go to Clay because Clay switched divisions, and so they had to make this trip twice. And that's not a stadium you want to play in back-to-back years. Napoleon gets it done Friday night.
I like it.
That's my lead pipe lock of the week right there.
Oh, man.
I'm going to jump in the fray. Lead pipe lock, Clay at home.
Now, you better be prepared to have egg on your face Saturday morning.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I know one of the dads from Napoleon will probably be in here if that happens, but I don't care. I can take the heat, but I'm confident in Clay.
you're going to get the heat. I'm telling you right now, Cats go on the road and get it
Landon
done.
Appleberry, baby. Oh, Bryce Bestgrove.
I love those
Little
two.
Jimmy Dewar.
I love those two. But
Clay's too much.
Wildcats have something for them. Wildcats have something
You
for them.
know something?
And I meant what I said. I don't know if Eggers will play. If he does, it would be uber sparingly. But I'm telling you, Napoleon's going to get it done.
What does
Kelby Parsons have a couple big runs, beat him with his feet, get those big interior linemen of Clay running around sideline to
Is there going to
sideline.
be? Is there going to?
fantastic 50 say on that game?
Did not look at that. Oops, went the wrong way.
You should know better than ask him to get you some data.
Are you still coaching that or teaching that coaching class at Napoleon High School?
Clay by 13.
Clay by 13.
On Fantastic 50.
Okay.
Drew Pasteur comes to me for information.
Well, then why does he have Clay by 13 if you think Napoleon's going to win?
It's because he didn't ask me this week.
Oh, he didn't ask
He
you.
didn't ask me. But I do. 5th and 6th period, I have two sections of
You
it.
got some football guys in that class?
Probably a third of the team in there. No freshmen. No freshmen allowed. You've got to be a little more seasoned.
So let me ask you this: on a week like this, week with a game like that looming, in the balance, are you working those kids all week? I mean, tomorrow does it start like at lunchtime? I mean, you building them up all week? The coaching, you coming out?
Yeah, I'm always building them up. And sometimes they ask me tough questions because they came in, it was the next day after the Defiance game on Friday, right?
Yep.
And there's 12 of them in my one class, and they're like, Coach Strock, what do you think about the 2-point call Friday night or Thursday night, last night? And I'm like, I'm not getting in the middle of this. I know how I feel, what I think about certain things, but some things, you don't, so I'm not going there. And they respect that.
Yeah.
But, and then there was a couple kids screwing around in class today, okay? And thought everything was a joke, and I looked at them, I said, you know what? Is this how you guys, and I looked at their teammates because I wanted to embarrass them a little bit, and I said, are they like this on game night? Is everything a joke to them? Because if that's the case, nothing's going to change this week. And I'm telling you right now, you could have heard a pin drop for the next 25 minutes, and I'm serious, that happened.
That's when you pick Napoleon.
And I did because I got their attention today.
Yeah.
That's why they're going
I
to
love it.
get it done Friday.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that.
No, I wouldn't either.
I was hot, Brady.
I can see it.
I was hot, man. I'm hot right now talking about it.
Got him fired up.
Doggone it. You got to have some sense in a while.
Absolutely.
He's just
Crying out
afraid.
loud.
He's just afraid if he picks against Napoleon, none of those kids will show up to class.
Well, I picked against them last week, and they always say, Coach Strock, who'd you pick? A lot of the kids listen to the stuff. Some don't.
Yeah.
Who'd you pick? I said, well, you got to listen,
That's right.
I mean, I could pick, like, if they played Whitmer and I picked Whitmer, they'd be like, I can't believe you picked against us. Like, well, you're playing Whitmer for crying out loud. What do you want me to do?
Let's keep it real, right?
Yeah, let's keep it real. But I am genuinely expecting them to get the win this week.
Okay. Got one more game to pick this week. Richmond Heights, winless at Toledo Christian, who is winless on the season. Can TC Eagles get their first win back in the 11-man game, Kenny?
Yeah, boy, they killed it in the 8-man game, and it's great to see them playing 11-man again. I don't know much about the Spartans outside of what they used to do in basketball when we'd see them down at the state tournament, but And Toledo Christian, I got to deal with them in basketball with their athletic department and their people. You talk about first-class people.
Oh, yeah.
First-class organization. I hate picking against them, but I'm going to go with the Richmond Heights Spartans. I think they're going to bring some athletes to the table, maybe that the Eagles can't match up with. I hate to say that. I mean, in my heart, I'll be rooting for Toledo Christian, but I'm going to pick, I'm competing with you guys. I'm going to go Richmond Heights.
I think this is a tough pick. I really do, and I echo what you said. Lynn and I talk about Toledo Christian a lot, Kenny, just first-class people.
Oh, man.
They do everything first class, but they haven't found their groove yet in this 11-man thing. And so I'm going to go with Richmond Heights. Like you, outside of their basketball prowess, I don't know much. And wouldn't be surprised to see Toledo Christian get it done, but I'm going with Richmond Heights.
I don't feel very educated making this pick because I don't know much about either team, but I'm taking Richmond Heights. You got a chance here.
Give me TC.
All right.
Give me TC.
They're talking right into it.
Coach Skeels, he's going to get it done this week.
If they're going to get one here, it's going to be this one.
This is it? What's the odds on this one?
Richmond Heights by 11.
By 11, that shows how much Drew Pastores knows.
Okay.
Richmond Heights by 11.
What was your cool lead pipe lock?
Oh, man, you're going to put Pandora Gilboa
That's
over
right,
Lipstick.
Pandora.
Lock it up. Bet your retirement fund on it.
What was yours?
I'm going to go now with Versailles at home over New Bremen, Tiger Ball.
That's an acceptable lock.
And Clay over Napoleon, acceptable?
For your lock?
Yes.
Oh, you did do one this week. That's more than acceptable because Napoleon's
See, I'm not like you guys just picking these games that are 30-point odds and picking the favorite.
I took Pandora and you picked Lipstick, and I'm so sure I made it my lock.
Well, everybody else picked Napoleon, and I took Clay.
Who'd you take?
I took Clay.
I didn't take anybody.
Or did you take? You took Clay.
I should take New Bremen now that he took Versailles. But
No, the Napoleon Clay game.
I
Who'd you
took
take?
Clay. I took Clay.
Yeah, see?
Oh, okay. You were.
I'm the only one that had the guts to call it.
You against the world, Coach.
It always is.
Lead pipe lock. St. Mary's. Good enough?
Ooh, yeah. You know how to play the game, son.
Good game to pick.
St. Mary's and who they got?
Defiance.
Hey, Defiance people ain't gonna like that, Brady.
I know.
Ooh, he's got to go to jerseys and Buffalo Wild Wings for a while now.
Now, if you win, though, they can't say anything to you.
Nah.
I always win my lead pipe lock.
That's what I'm going for.
So nobody can say anything to me.
Wow. Interesting. Lead pipe locks this week.
A little bit of banter this week. Saturday morning is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. We'll tally up who takes home the victory from our pick'ems this week.
That was fun.
Brady and Kenny, thank you guys so much. What an honor it was.
Yes, it was.
No,
Stop back
likewise.
anytime.
Thanks for having us, Lynn. Brady, I think, told you had your headphones on. I don't think you heard him earlier. He was giving you some kudos on the magazine, and man, you hit it out of the park with that magazine. It's so beautiful. But all of your shows, I mean, I'm a fan. I listen, and the only thing I don't get to listen to is because I'm working Friday night. Brady is too, is when you guys are doing your game cast. But man, keep up the great work. This is so much fun, and really one of the things that's keeping football alive in this area, this part of the state. Thank you for what you guys do, and thanks for having us on. We are honored to be here tonight.
No, thank you guys. You guys are a couple guys that we look up to, and can't thank you enough for what you've set as kind of a standard in Northwest Ohio and the work that you've done.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
Thank you, guys. Everybody have a great week. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and thank you to everybody that has listened and watched this week. Have a great week. Tune into our KK Collision football show. Going to revisit the 1993 season with some Liberty Center guys and some Wassee On guys this week. You can watch that on our YouTube channel. Friday night we will have Archbold at Delta, pregame 6:30, kickoff 7. Saturday morning, Rise and Rewind, what time?
If we can bump it back to 8, I could do 8:30.
Okay.
But
it'll be a little earlier this week.
Yeah.
We'll get you an exact time as the week progresses. And tune into these two guys. They'll have Wayne Trace and Paul being on Friday night. What time is your pregame show start?
6:30.
6:30, 99.7, and you probably listen to that online too.
You can.
6:50. We go on
6:50.
6:45 probably. MySports.live.
Perfect. If you want to watch the video feed of that one. Guys, keep up the great work.
Yep.
Honored to have you. Have a great rest of the football season. I'm sure we'll see you guys both very soon. Thank you guys so much.